Hey there guys, welcome to Pixelescope. So Krita 4 stable is now released and I had made a video on Krita 4 pre-alpha about the new features and things to get excited about. So I have downloaded the stable one and as I am using it, I happen to see some new addition and improvements over the old one. So today I'm gonna discuss the bigger and smaller changes in Krita 4 stable, and also I'm gonna discuss some things which I didn't cover in the previous version. So without further ado, let's get started. So our first tool would be the Colorize mask tool. So this is a big feature of Krita 4 which is targeted for line art artists. So it will be used for a quicker solution of colorizing your liners. So it's a fill tool with a lots of options. So let's get started. You need a liner to begin with. So I have one stupid liner. So let's add a colorize mask from here. So you have a new filter, the mask. Yeah. Now you have to select this colorize mask editing tool. This icon is new and the color is changed. Notice how these are all so blurry type. Alright, now you can select any color and just strike a stroke over here, and let's try some different color here and do some other color for the outside or something like more light. Now you have to, in order to fill this is a color filling tool which will work in spite of having this gap, and there are lots of options which I have not explored yet. And now you have to update. So the same thing, this update and this update is same, I think. Yeah. So now you have to click this edit option. So notice how cool is that. This is a great tool. I have yet to explore all the options, but I'm sure it will be a game changer. So if you need to further add or remove or edit this coloring mask tool, this is a non-destructive approach as it's a mask. So that advantage is of course there. So now all you have to do is go to the edit mode, and then maybe this mask editing tool works like a brush, so it will pick colors from here as well. So just paint something. That's it. Now again you have to update this. So it will take its time. And it's done. So that's the first feature of today. It's a great feature. So let's move on to the next one. So the next big feature of Krita 4 is height map to normal map conversion. Now this is directed towards the 3D artists or especially texturing artists. So as 3D artists we need height information and angle information. So for height information you need the height map, or also known as bump map, and for angle information you need normal map. So now the conversion is integrated into Krita. So let's see how it works. So I have created a height map on my own. Now initially I had created this on layer 2, but it is recommended that you merge all the layer before the conversion, otherwise it behaves unnaturally. So now go to filter, edge detection, height map to normal map. It works flawlessly. Now if you want to increase the intensity, you need to increase the radius. So there you go. Also there are 3 types of algorithm here: pre, width, oval and simple. So you have to check which one suits you. And also there is this XYZ axis, you can alter them and the height map will be accordingly changed. So there's that. So it's a great addition to Krita. Now the next thing I'm gonna talk about is the masked brush. It's like dual brush in Photoshop, but I think there are better control for the secondary brush here. So let's see how it works. So I am pressing F5, that opens my brush editor. So there you go, you have this new masked brush section. So let's see how it works. At first, before adding the masked brush, I have this, but if I tick here and then I have to select from any of the brushes, I am selecting this. Now notice my brush is completely changed. Now you can change the size from here, then the rotation, everything can be changed. Also the spacing too. So it's great. Also there is this size, so you can even control the size, opacity, flow with your brush, with your paint pressure, as you can do with the main brush. So that's a great addition. Also these graph presets are new addition, which I already covered in my previous review. So if you can control anything and which you could control in the main brush. So these are all the same but for the secondary brush. So it's a great new addition. I have a lot of use cases, future use cases in my mind for this brush to work. It's a great thing to get. Next one is the new and improved text tool. So previously the text tool was quite rudimentary, but now it has its own window. You can do a lot of things here. So you can change the text to anything. I don't know, dog barks maybe, and you have to save that. And you have a whole new control over here. I have not explored it to that level, but it has quite some features. And the font support is also there, which was not in the case of the Krita 3, I guess. But it's I got it in a middle release, but now it has its own window, which is quite new. So I have to work my way through this. And there is your color selector. So it works like a text editor tool. You can change the color and all of that. So it's a great addition, I think. So whenever you want to edit, you can go here. Also there is this SVG source, which I am not really sure of. I am not familiar with the vector graphics things. So there's that. Also in Krita 4, they have improved a lot regarding the vector graphics. But I cannot review that because I don't know vector graphics that much. But I intend to learn it, so maybe in future. So now let's talk about the relatively smaller changes, but very important ones. So let's start with the new default brush presets. So with the Krita 4 stable version, we have a new Krita 4 default brush resources, which are a great addition, and I am so far loving these new brushes. But they have not completely got rid of the old one, so you can get them in your resource folder. So by default, the Krita 3 brush default resources are inactive, but you can click this button and make that active whenever you want. In Krita 4 there is this new logging system, so you get your canvas FPS and all other nerdy stuffs, which can be really beneficiary for tracking any lagging of your screen. So it's a great new addition, but it was not quite working in the pre-alpha version that I reviewed, but now it has been fixed. So when you open Krita for the first time, it might not be activated, so you need to activate them by going to configure Krita and then performance and then advanced, and you need to tick these three options. So after you click OK, then it will take some time and then it will be activated. Krita now supports Python scripting, which means that you can make your own plugin for this awesome software. So there is this new tool, and there is this they have already provided us some plugins, and there is this scripter. So there are some quite cool plugins out here. This 10 brush, I like this. You can assign the brushes to your shortcuts, but you need to know Python, and then only you can create your plugins. Now in configure Krita, there is this Python plugin manager, so you can create plugin and then activate or deactivate it from here. Also there is this new recording macro, and then editing, open and play and open and edit, but I haven't been able to use them properly because it never stops, and I think they will address this issue. So let's start by starting some macro. So let's first draw something, merge this, and then maybe start the recording. Start recording macro, then go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, just normal blur, normal blur, right? And now go to macro, recording, and stop recording action. Now it will open a window, and then you have to save this. I already had created one. I'm overwriting that, and let's go back to the previous state. So it should, when I open and play this, it should make this blurred. So I'm opening and playing macros. It doesn't, but there's more to it. I'll show you. So actually it never completes this task, it never throws any error whatsoever, it just doesn't work right now. So I need to restart the system, then I'll show you how I managed to somehow got it to work, but then again this process it never reaches its destination, or it never finishes. So let's restart this. I have opened Krita again, so I need to create a new document in order to get started. So I'll first merge this two, and then I'll make a new sketch, and then I'll show you how I got it to work halfway. Macro, open and edit. Now if I open and edit this, you see there are no actions right now, so I need to add some. So if you click on here, nothing happens. You need to apply, you need to click here and then apply filter, then there is your blur, maybe normal blur. So there is your, you can change all the things you want to change here. Then maybe add some height to normal map, that also works. Alright, so maybe 1px. Yeah. Now you need to save the macro. I'm just overwriting this. Now if you open and play this action, it will work, but there's a problem. It should, yeah, it works, but there's the problem of going this infinitely. This never stops unless I restart this. So that's a problem, I think, but I think it will be addressed and improved. It's a great addition for repetitive tasks. So there's the macro. Another new addition I want to talk about is the edge detection filter, which was at the same place of the normal high to normal map conversion. So let's see how it works. So in edge detection, this is the edge detection filter. So as you can see, it gets the edge from your drawing, and you can get the top edge, the bottom, left, right, anything. I don't understand this one though. Anyway, there are three algorithms: Sobol, pre-weight and simple. I think pre-weight is the most effective. Maybe that's why it is selected by default. So you can even apply this to your alpha channel, so that can also help you in some situation. There are several use cases of this, so it's a great new addition. I'm just cancelling this for now. Alright, now there are some assistant improvements in Krita 4.0. So let's see that. So let's create a, I will just delete this, maybe, sorry. Alright, so let's go to the assistant and then create this ellipse. So now it has this opacity options and the color, which I think is great. But all of the tools get the same color. So the handles are also different than it was in the previous one. Design is changed, so it's a great new addition. Welcome. Also, there is this new, you see where there is this new Krita darker theme, which was not available in Krita 3. So previously this was the theme. Now you can go even darker. So I personally prefer this theme over that. In Krita 4 you have a better gradient map management system. So let's check that out. If I now change this to this, so I have opacity here, can change the amount of effect I want to. Also there is this reversing things, but it was already there in Krita 3 I guess, but I think the opacity is new. I don't know what this stops to. I don't know, but I will surely find out this one, and maybe I'll update. So there's that. Alright, now there are some new dockers in Krita 4, like the new comics manager. Also there is a handy tool which is again a docker, that is a vector libraries. Now this is really interesting and very effective for quickly adding some vector graphics for your comics artwork. It's great. here are these icons also, then the paper kind of speech bubbles, word balloons, so anything, and you can resize them because it's a vector layer. You can do all the vector related tasks. This is again oriented for comic artists. Now the next feature or improvement I'm gonna talk about, I have not seen this documented anywhere, but I think it's one of the greatest feature of Krita 4, or you can say it as an improvement. Because in Krita 3 I used to get these huge color banding problems while upscaling. So I start with a small picture and then I block out my details. Then in the final stage of the picture I usually get up to 6 to 7 times higher the resolution I started with. So whenever I did that in Krita 3 with 8-bit color depth, I used to get huge color banding problems. And in Krita 4 you have this filter associated with the resize option, as you can see. So you can choose from these different filters whatever suits your need, and then in some filters, actually in most of the filters I have seen the color banding is gone, but not in the bicubic. So I'll show you. So let's go 12,000 maybe. So usually it used to affect the gradient mostly, but that doesn't mean that it didn't affect other part of your artwork. So as you can see, there is this lines, these artifacts of color banding, and it is very prominent. If you zoom in a little, it is really prominent. So the bicubic filter, I think it was the filter in the previous version. I don't know for sure because there was no filter or anything like that. But let's see how and another filter works this. Let's try with a B-spline. I have seen that this is far better than what the bicubic did in the previous case. So let's see. So as you can see, the color bandings are not there. There are no lines, but yeah, there is some artifact, but this is, I think, far better than what I got in the previous case. So I think it's one of the greatest improvements in Krita 4. And I usually used to get this type of color banding problems while resizing some part of the image or anything like that, and I have seen that gone in Krita 4. So that's, I think it's really great. This feature or improvement is really great. So that was my experience with Krita 4 stable version. I was really excited for this release and I am not disappointed at all. So if you found this video helpful, please give me a like and share it with your friends. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any new upload from my channel. I also make Krita basics tutorials, so if you are new to Krita, then you can check them out. So that's it for today guys, I'll see you soon.